The Cursed Village, a Minecraft horror story. The sun was setting as Steve and his companions trudged through the dense, darkening forest. The day's journey had been long, and they were eager to find shelter. Just as they considered setting up camp, they stumbled upon something unexpected. An old, abandoned village hidden deep in the woods. The village seemed oddly out of place, with broken windows, overgrown paths, and dilapidated buildings. "This place gives me the creeps," Alex muttered, gripping her sword tightly. Steve nodded but said nothing. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them. The village was eerily silent, save for the occasional rustling of leaves in the breeze. The air was thick with an unexplainable chill. The group cautiously entered the village square. A large, weathered bell tower loomed in the center, its bell long, rusted, and broken. Surrounding it were old stone houses with doors hanging off their hinges. Something about the village felt wrong. There were no signs of life, no animals, no villagers. Only silence. As the last light of day faded, the moon rose, casting an eerie glow over the village. Suddenly, a loud creak echoed through the square. One of the house's doors swung open on its own. Did you see that?" whispered Jesse, his voice barely audible. Steve raised his torch, the flickering flame barely cutting through the thickening darkness. He stepped forward cautiously, peering into the doorway. Inside, the house was in ruins. Furniture was overturned, and cobwebs covered every corner. But something else caught his eye. A single glowing book on a dusty old table. Curiosity overpowered his fear. Steve walked inside, followed closely by his friends. The book radiated a faint, sickly green light. Its cover was worn, but one word was clear on the front. Cursed. Alex reached for the book, but Steve stopped her. "Wait. Maybe we shouldn't touch it." But it was too late. The moment the word cursed left his lips, a loud clang reverberated through the village. The sound of the bell, broken for who knows how long, was suddenly ringing. The ground beneath them began to tremble. From the shadows, eerie whispers filled the air, growing louder with every passing second. "Everyone outside now!" Steve shouted, rushing toward the exit. But as they reached the doorway, the bell rang again, this time with a deafening, otherworldly sound. The doors of the other houses in the village burst open simultaneously, and from each doorway, figures emerged. Dark, shadowy figures, their eyes glowing red, began to shuffle toward the group. What are those things?" Jesse yelled, backing away. "They're villagers, or what's left of them," Steve replied grimly. "I think we woke something up." The figures, twisted and zombified, closed in from all sides, their low, haunting moans filling the night. Steve and his friends pulled out their weapons, but something was different about these creatures. No matter how many times they struck them down, the shadows reformed, rising again and again. "We need to get to higher ground," Alex screamed, slashing at one of the undead villagers. They sprinted toward the bell tower, Steve leading the way as they fought off the relentless creatures. They climbed the tower's winding staircase, the groaning of wood beneath their feet barely holding as the structure swayed. When they reached the top, they looked out over the village. From above, they could see it. The entire village was surrounded by a dark, swirling mist. The shadows were converging at the base of the tower, growing stronger, feeding off the curse. "There's got to be a way to break this," Jesse yelled, looking frantically around the bell tower. His eyes landed on a chest hidden in the corner. He rushed over, throwing it open. Inside, there was an old scroll, torn and faded. He read the words aloud. "The curse of the forgotten. Broken only by the light of the first dawn." "Light of the first dawn?" Alex repeated. "Does that mean we just have to survive until morning?" Steve looked out toward the horizon. The moon was high in the sky. Morning was still far away. "I don't think they'll give us that long," Steve muttered, watching the shadows grow denser. Suddenly the bell rang again, this time louder than before. A deafening screech filled the air as the mist seemed to come alive, swirling violently around the village. And then, from the center of the square, a massive figure rose. A dark, towering creature with glowing red eyes, the source of the curse. "We need to destroy that thing," Steve shouted. "It's the heart of the curse." As the creature began to move toward the bell tower, Steve's mind raced. He remembered the book, the cursed book. It was still in the house.